Welcome into CHGO Tavern Style. I'm Sean Anderson of CHGO White Sox.
And I'm Sales Guy Chris.
Sales Guy Chris making his second appearance on CHGO Tavern Style, which is presented by Salerno's Pizza. Head over to the Grand Avenue location and call 312-666-3444 to make a reservation today. On today's CHGO Tavern Style, we'll be talking about the Chicago athletes you would most want to have dinner with. Chris, I threw this topic out to you. You came out with 4 names for both past and present. You weren't sure on how this was going to be laid out, if it was going to be a solo dinner with one guy from the past, a solo dinner with one guy from the present, or both guys together. I ended up saying, let's do both guys together. So if you want to take the people through the thought process, or if you just want to start with the 2 guys you'd most want to have dinner with, what are the 2 athletes you ended up picking up?
Yeah, absolutely. And just want to say it's a pleasure being here today with you, Sean. You know, back on the other side of the mic here. You know, this was a tough question, you know, and I didn't have too much time to think it over. But, you know, I feel like I'd show my age here a little bit with the 2 guys I did end up with, you know, but I sort of had like an ultimate power 2 that I'd want to have dinner with. But, you know, I want to put those on the side, let those guys continue to do their thing. And I picked 2 Chicago athletes that are playing past and present that I feel would be, you know, just fun and, you know, look like cool dudes, just, you know, have a steak, have a burger with, and a couple beers. So, you know, the first ultimate guys I chose would be Michael Jordan and Caleb Williams together. You know, those 2 guys are guys I've always wanted to meet, but, you know, they've, you know, MJ, you know, the GOAT doing his thing. You know, I don't really want to meet MJ anymore. You know, I'll let him do his thing. You know, I just want to keep my thoughts and, you know, high praise where it is. And, you know, Caleb, the vibes coming into Chicago, you know, the bear claw, everything like that. You know, it's just, you know, I don't want to meet him yet. I'm going to let him continue to take over Chicago and continue to do his thing. So those are like my 2 ultimate, but I do have 2 that I would pick the dinner for.
Those are 2 guys with crazy drive, and I don't think I want to be anywhere near that table. Not saying that I don't have drive, not saying that I don't have ambition, but obviously the stories about Michael Jordan, how intense he was, I don't know if I want that at dinner. And Caleb Williams has been, you know, trying to be the number 1 draft pick since he was 11. That's way too intense for me. Also, I don't think I could spend money with Michael Jordan and Caleb Williams, at least not Mike. Like, I mean, if we're done with dinner, I think Mike's probably going to want to go gambling, and I'll probably out after one hand, you know, unless Mike's, you know, funding the night for us, which would be pretty sick. I don't think I can hang out with Michael Jordan. I think that I'm well out of any athlete's bankroll, but especially MJ 23. There's no way I can have dinner with that guy.
No way. I feel like I'd sit down at the table and he'd immediately be like, Chris, you're not cool enough. Get the heck out of here, sort of thing, you know, and then I'd walk away all sad. And yes, absolutely.
There you go. So who'd you end up, who do you think is most achievable? Who do you think are the right 2 for you?
Yeah, so the right 2 for me, I feel like it'd be epic conversation, just talking their game, everything like that. The 2 I ended up on was Derrick Rose. You know, I was just such a big D Rose guy, and just seeing sort of what he's doing, you know, at the tail end of his NBA career, and just seeing the family man he is now. I saw he was at the Morgan Wallen concert with his wife and kid, you know, a couple weeks ago, just wearing cowboy boots, cowboy hat. Never seen D Rose like that. You know, I feel like we're seeing his true personality, so I feel like he'd be fun to have a conversation with. You know, Joakim Noah was at his wedding and everything like that, so I just feel like it'd be a fun conversation, along with Cody Bellinger on the Cubs, you know, hitting belly bombs. I just feel like he'd be a chill dude who would just, you know, want to talk ball, talk gaming, talk pretty much anything. So those were the 2 I ended up on.
Use the discount code for Sunnyside with Cody Bellinger for
Cody
sure.
Cody Bellinger looks like he would use our Sunnyside promo code. Shout out to Sunnyside.
You could reek walking into a restaurant with Cody Bellinger, because that's Cody Bellinger. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if the guy smells like skunk, there's a reason for it. But you're probably going to take these guys to Salerno's.
Absolutely. You know, just get a nice Chicago pizza.
Head over to Salerno's on tap at 1201 West Grant Ave in Chicago's West Town to enjoy their Chicago Tavern Style pizza and ice cold beers. Whether you're headed to the game, watching it live on their big screen TVs, or watching it from home, they've got you covered. Go to salernospizza.com or call 312-666-3444. Mention CHGO to get half off your pizza. Again, mention CHGO to get half off your pizza over at Salerno's. Call 312-666-3444. I went more themed, right? I mean, you went with 2 MVPs, guys that were, you know, at the peak of their powers. Guys. Yeah, absolutely. And they've had the ups and downs, right? So, I mean, you know, you could talk about that. The guys with probably stories, right? I'm going with more a focused effort.
Okay.
I'll go with Liam Hendricks and Garrett Crochet. two guys that I think could talk shit about the White Sox organization. Liam is very willing to talk to anybody who lends him an ear. So I think he's a good guy just for any dinner party. I think he's a guy that keep conversations going, probably has a bunch of stories, probably just has a bunch of stories of killing spiders out in Australia. Like, I don't know. And Crochet, he's a guy that obviously has something to prove. He's a guy that completely skipped the minor leagues, and even though they're giving him an opportunity to be a starter, I think he's probably got some horror stories to tell about that White Sox team. So I'll go with guys that have been there. I think Crochet seems cooler than Kopech, so that would be my like White Sox dinner. But then we could try to set up our guy Caleb Williams for success. Why not have a Kyle Orton and a Caleb Williams? Why not have a Jim McMahon and Caleb Williams? Maybe we dig up the bones of Bob Avellini. I don't know if he's dead, but you kind of tell him the horror stories of Chicago quarterbacking all at one dinner. Might be a nightmare. He might want to run away from Chicago after, but I think it'd be good to set up the young man with a true expectation of what Chicago has been through with quarterbacks. So those are the two that I would pick. I don't know what former Bears quarterback I would pick with Caleb, though, to tell him the true horror stories. I don't want to invite Cutler.
No, Cutler would be not. You need someone with good vibes, who had success in the past. Cutler had a lot of success, but yeah, I can just see those personalities. I don't know. It'd be tough to see them, having a full conversation the entire dinner. I feel like there'd be a lot of awkward silences at that dinner for the first time.
I'd go Williams, Kyle Orton. I think he's a guy that was the starter, didn't have huge expectations, so maybe it's not the closest to Caleb Williams, but I wouldn't want to have him have a dinner with Mitch Trubisky. Trubisky still doesn't know anything, I don't think. He seems like he's got no thoughts in that head. So,
call him cool and collected at all times. No drive, no thought process.
So somebody give it to him straight. Anyways, that's going to do it for CHGO Tavern Style. Make sure you check out our friends over at Salerno's Pizza. Call them at 312-666-3444. That's sales guy Chris. I'm Sean Anderson of CHGO White Sox. We will talk to you tomorrow for CHGO Tavern Style.